Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Kustas, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies.
Hello, and welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Kustas, and today's episode is for the woman who is ready to close this year a little differently. Now, listen, I love a good inspirational mug as much as anyone, but the one that says finish strong or don't finish at all. I saw this at Target the other day. Yeah, she needs to sit this one out. I was very triggered by this mug because what if the way you end this year isn't about the hustle, but it really is about the healing? What if instead of forcing more, we actually created space for less pressure, less pretending, more presence? This episode, you guys, this is going to be a really soft space. It's going to be a time for us to reframe what success really feels like at the end of the year, especially for so many of us women who have been holding a lot. We are still holding a lot. The last 11 months may have been a lot. Well, guess what? We deserve to enter the new year nourished, not just accomplished. I mean, it's great if you've accomplished a lot of things, and it's okay if you didn't accomplish all of them. I want you to really be in a place where you are feeling nourished as you end this year. Because let's be real, most of us are women in midlife. Most of you that are tuning into this podcast are women in midlife. And if you're in midlife, we've seen some things. We're navigating our hormones. We're possibly raising preteens, teenagers, or maybe you're a newer empty nester. But the bottom line is we've been managing our households, our careers, our businesses. You're possibly helping with aging parents. And even the little things of just trying to stay hydrated and also trying to squeeze in a mammogram before the year ends. Goodness knows we need all the support that we can get. And guess what? When you end your year frazzled and when you're depleted or you're feeling overextended, guess how January starts? The same exact way. Because December 31st or January 1st, it's not some magic number. There's no reset button. There's no divine switch that flips overnight and makes everything easier. We think that in our brains, but the reality is that's not what's happening in real life. And here's what I've learned: when you live life really turned in to your inner knowing, your intuition, and when you hear God speaking clearly in that stillness, your body actually feels when it's time to make some changes. You don't always need January 1st to come around on the calendar. You don't necessarily need a coach or a great quote. Sometimes you just know. Your soul knows. Your body is whispering it to you. Your spirit actually might even start to get a little restless. Is anyone else feeling that? If you are, I want you to just zoom out for a moment. Because did you know that only 8% of people actually stick to their New Year's resolutions? It's wild, but it really makes sense. And I'm sure you can look back at some of the resolutions that you've probably made and have gone, yeah, that totally did not happen. Because Motivation, I like to use the analogy that it's like a firework. It's really exciting at first, but it burns out quickly and it leaves us also wondering what went wrong. So that is why a long time ago, several years ago, but even just more recently, I have started to lean into something deeper than motivation, and it has been reframes. So for me, reframes have been everything this year, like literally everything. Not because it's trendy to say that, because I have heard other people talking about reframes, but because they've helped me make sense of what has been stirring inside of me. And I don't know, this season just feels different. What felt really aligned and what felt exciting last December, honestly, it doesn't land the same for me this year. And maybe you're feeling that too in some area of your life. It doesn't have to be every area, but it's that sense of something deeper is asking to be honored. And I've been wrestling with this for the last couple of months. And it's not even that this season at the end of the year, especially around the holidays, gets quieter. As moms, I don't know, it feels even busier than ever, but it's different. There's this shift that's happening where we're more intentional with our yeses. And we're choosing to be with people that we love. We're choosing to show up fully for our families, our real friendships, our peace. I'm hearing this from so many clients and the women in my collective. We're no longer giving ourselves away to everything and everyone. So, no, we don't need this fresh new calendar. We just need fresh clarity, fresh alignment, fresh trust. And I want to say this loudly, fresh trust in the version of us who's actually already emerging. This is about being willing to become the version of yourself who doesn't wait for permission. We're not waiting for January 1st. We're not waiting for quarter 1 if it's for your business. So here's how I'm thinking about it lately. This season isn't about trying to wrap 2025 up with a bow or check every box kind of way. It's about asking myself, how do I want to feel when I cross into the new year? I don't want to be thinking about all the perfect goals. I really want to be thinking about my peace and how I'm feeling, and I'm not just dragging myself across the finish line, but walking in with this clarity and with this wholeness that I know that there is something beautiful that's coming. And that version of me I want to be in 2026, well, she doesn't show up because I made a vision board with 10 massive goals in the future. She shows up because I started making little decisions in December. I started making quiet ones and really honest ones right now in the background. And I keep thinking about, how am I going to show up when the house is messy or when I'm tired, when everything feels like too much as even 2026 progresses. And that's where I want to be in those moments of I want to choose presence over pressure. I want to allow myself to rest instead of proving something all the time. I want it to be real. And I'm thinking for myself, I want it to be a little bit softer. I'm craving that. Might be different for you, and that's okay. But I want you to think of what 2026, what energy do you want to bring into that? And how do you actually want to feel in your life? So, I want to talk a little bit about habits. Now, I know people freak out about habits. Please don't. And goodness knows, I freaking love a color coded planner. But that is not the full solution for habits. If anybody knows this, I know this. The key is building habits that integrate into the life you already live. So, for instance, going back to what we were talking about earlier, if you're a mom, you might be managing, teenagers with those huge emotions. Maybe they're teenagers with the big appetites, or maybe you're dealing with hormonal shifts and, perimenopause, menopause, mood swings. You're dealing with, I mean, this is life, right? We're dealing with, carpooling. We're dealing with right now, in particular, we're dealing with the holidays and who's hosting and what are we doing? Groceries. How are we managing the breaks when the kids are off of school? There's this tension between I want to be present, but I also need 30 minutes alone. Please. I just need 30 minutes. So those habits, they have to work with your life, not against it. And we have to first think about the micro habits. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am obsessed with a book. I put it in my favorite podcast or my favorite things episode in my podcast a couple of weeks ago. Literally, Elise Citro's book, Higher Self Habits, comes from a very feminine perspective. And I love the way she talks about micro habits. So here's what mine looks like lately. I'm just going to give you a few examples. For instance, I always make my coffee every morning. So when I'm making my coffee, I'm also pouring a cold glass of water and I drink that first before I indulge in coffee. Now, I always used to say, oh my gosh, I love coffee as my first sip of the day. But I also have come to learn through my research and education in health that that is not necessarily what is good for me. I have learned that hydration first is better. So drinking a glass of water helps you get hydrated. I love adding electrolytes to it. It helps your metabolism and it feels like a little reset. Then I drink my coffee. And while I'm sipping my coffee, I do a few rounds of deep breathing. Nothing crazy, just intentional breath. And sometimes I add a little energy work and I'm literally killing two birds with one stone by just those micro habits of what I'm already doing and adding a little something else while I'm doing that. When I brush my teeth, here's another example. I name three things that I'm grateful for in my head. Sometimes I say it out loud. It's just simple, but it's stacking your habits. It's habit stacking micro habits. And let me tell you, it is so one of the best things I've done this year for myself. And what you're doing is these are already anchored habits you have. So making my coffee in the morning, drinking my coffee in the morning, brushing my teeth, they're already anchored habits. You don't need to add more stuff. You just stack meaningful rituals onto what you already do. Because this isn't, again, it's not about adding more. I don't want to make life harder. It's just about integrating things on a deeper level. And then what it does is these tiny little shifts, they start to create evidence and they anchor in your identity. And I'm telling you, they're small, but they're mighty. Mighty enough to really begin moving the needle. This is what is so awesome. I promise. So now is the part of the episode where we're going to talk strategy. We're going to talk tools, nuggets to take away. If you're driving or walking or folding laundry right now, just listen in. But if you're sitting down somewhere, this might be the time where you'll grab your journal, grab a notebook. We're going to do a little work. This is where it gets really good. We're going to name one bold move for December. Not a full transformation, not a new personality, just one rooted, aligned shift that says, I am not abandoning myself in this season. I am going to exhale as I move into 2026. So maybe your bold move is just a nightly wind down. Maybe it's going to be just a screen free Sunday. Maybe it's finally booking that mammogram that we were talking about earlier, or letting go of something that's draining you. Maybe you have a commitment that you're like, I've got to let this go just this month. I got to let it go. Then what I want you to do is I want you to name 3 micro steps that support this. Keep it simple, just like what we were talking about with these micro habits. Let it shape how you feel as you are heading into 2026, because these are the promises that we make to ourselves. And when we keep them, we start to trust ourselves more and we start to be able to exhale. We start to be able to breathe a little easier. And here's the thing, you guys, you still get to use the tools that you love. So you can still have the planner, the highlighters, the flare pens. I love a good flare pen. You can still do your calendar blocking. I love all of those things too. But this kind of work, this can be more of the internal side. It can be a little bit slower. It can feel more meaningful. It can be more rooted instead of feeling like you gotta go strong. You gotta, press the gas and you've gotta end with a bang. If you're not in that space and you're like, man, I'm tired of rushing to the finish line, that's where a different kind of glow up happens. And it's not always what's visible on paper. That's why I'm saying it's not what success looks like. It can be what success feels like. It's about who you're actually becoming, and that peace in your heart. It actually strengthens your boundaries. And it also brings this, like I said, it brings this softness to your spirit. And when you show up that way, everything starts to shift. And then you're walking into January shifted, not feeling overwhelmed or feeling disappointed in yourself that you didn't finish strong, like the mug said. And I'm going to go even a little bit deeper than that. I'm going to read a few prompts and you can pause and journal or just reflect. But I want to read these prompts and I would love for you to sit with these just for a moment, because I think this is where it can be a game changer. So, number one, what parts of 2025 drained me emotionally, spiritually, or physically? Or maybe it's all three. What parts of 2025 drained me emotionally, spiritually, physically? Get honest with yourself. Number two, what moments made me feel like me? I felt the best here. I felt so good in these moments. What were those? Tap into those. They're here to tell you something. Number three, what micro ritual or micro habit can I anchor in today that supports who I am becoming? So, who is it that I want to become? Who is it that I'm stepping into and remembering? And what is that micro ritual or habit that I can anchor into today? Just pick one. You don't have, I gave you 3 examples. You don't even have to have all three. You can have one or you can have 5. This is where, again, this is where you are tapping into your knowing. Number 4, if the woman I want to be were already here, how would she end this year? How would she end this year if she were already here? The beautiful favorite version of yourself. And then number 5, what is that one bold move I can make this month? and let go of the rest. And like I said, maybe your bold move is just making that doctor's appointment that you have been putting off. It does not have to be anything over the top, but for you, it has felt hard or it would be a bold move in your heart. No one gets to judge what the word bold means. It's for you. Because it's in this work that these types of reflections start to move the needle. And we can really get to change and we can really honor what you may be sitting with right now. And that's why I hope that this is resonating for you. Even if it's just part of this episode is resonating. That's a win. That's a win. So if this episode really felt like an exhale, like something in your spirit is finally feeling a little bit settled, I want you to know that you are invited into something even deeper than that. On December 29th of 2025, I don't know when you'll be listening to this, I am going to be hosting a sacred end of the year experience called Exhale into 2026. And it's going to be a gentle but powerful workshop designed to help you close out this year with clarity, intention, and presence. No pushing, no pressure, just honest space for the woman you are and the one that you're becoming. And if you're sitting here thinking, I don't just want to feel better, I want to live better, then let me tell you about something special. It's called the Glow Up School, but it's the Glow Up School experience. And what I mean by that, it's no longer a 12-month membership. And it's not another course with endless modules and more things to check off. This is a very curated 90-day reset designed to help you come home to yourself. We're going to be talking about getting your nervous system back in check, learning to truly regulate your energy, and honoring your body through somatic work, which all that means simply is just learning to listen to your body and to respond with compassion. And we're talking about real embodied transformation, something that is sustainable. And inside of this experience, I'm going to be pouring into you directly. I'm going to be encouraging you, mentoring you, guiding you. You'll get personalized support and coaching through our private community. And you will also have access to what I call the Shine Line. And that's where you get to ask direct questions and get coached on them, mentored through them. And we'll also explore energy healing. We're going to be really diving into micro habits and nervous system rituals that make a difference in your real life. Even in the middle of you carpooling or late at night when you're starting to spiral, this is what you're going to learn is how to get through those moments and rise above that, operating in a frequency that is much higher. And this is, in my opinion, it's unlike anything else out there that I have seen. As they say, if you are craving something, if you are wanting something and you can't find it anywhere, create it yourself, solve the problem. That's what we're doing here. It's not a one size fits all solution, but something fully curated for you, for your pace, for your healing, for your glow up. And I would be so honored to work with you. So you can find this information on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you're on our mailing list, our email list for all of the details that are going out for these things. Of course, my DMs are always open and I love, love, love to hear from you. I would absolutely love to have you be a part of this. So again, there's the workshop. And then if you want to go even deeper, there's the Glow Up School. And I like to say Glow Up School experience for this one. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to share this episode with somebody else, oh my gosh, I would be so grateful. And of course, please let me know what your bold move is. That is always so much fun. I can't tell you how much I love to read the messages from you guys. I read every single one of them. And I love getting this feedback from you. I love to hear how this is shaping you. It really, really, truly fills my cup. So thank you again, you guys. And again, keep rising, keep shining, and remember your best day is right here waiting for you.
Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review, and don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.